Hey, cousins, we're back with Hot Take Hill, Cousins Edition. I went and got y'all stuff, and we gonna go through it, and we gonna talk about it, and have a good time doing it. Shout out to all the cousins who comment, give ideas, give some good hot takes, and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get into it. Shout out to Hot Heat 3000. This show proves that they have a star problem, a big one. Cody out, Punk out, Roman out, Cena heel turn has lost steam. Who is left to hold people's attention beyond their interest music? I don't know. Bianca ain't there. Rhea Ripley, she gearing up for her whole Australia pay per view, so she gonna be in and out. Charlotte Flair, y'all, everybody running her down so bad because she was married 3 times. I really don't understand why Charlotte can't get a sentence out. But as far as if someone comes out and I'm super excited to watch them on the men's side, I have to be honest, there is no one on the men's side right now that I will sit and get into heavy duty like that. It would have been main event Jay Uso if he was main event, but right now he's mascot Jay, and I can't get with that. So there is nobody. That's really crazy to think. Whose fault is that? Paul Leviskay. Shout out to Shine Bright 5965. They don't want Omos on another promotion, so they'd rather pay him to remain in WWE without utilizing him. Omos is 7 feet giant. He would definitely get picked up by another promotion. Let me tell you something. I'm not really understanding what the fuck is going on with Omos, and so I'm gonna need to put him on a milk carton. Omos literally could take over where and what's his name? Oh my goodness. Braun Strowman left off and actually do it better. Why can this man work? I'm really he was in New Japan. They loved him. Them Japanese loved that. They was like, this big dude, we all small. This is a fantastic time. And it's like when they saw him thriving, they said, bring him back over. That's it. Bring him back over and put him back in the closet. Set Almost free. Okay, let that man get on that main roster and be the quote unquote Andre the Giant. Be Braun Strowman. There are no big, otherworldly, larger than life characters. You have one right there with Almost. He can talk. I've seen his YouTube. He has a great personality. I just don't understand. You made that's actually a fact. That's not even a hot take. All right. Taylor Lork, 7530. She said Jakari Jackson got released, but a white girl with a dump truck and bad knees gets to go to Evolve. Listen. That's a fact. That is not a hot take. That going over there and see white girl with a dump truck's debut match. I'm gonna leave it right there. Mm. All right. Lamel Mazer Rauno 9332. I hope I got that. Shout out to you, cousin. They said nobody is wrestling, and it's only a matter of time before these wrestlers start having terrible matches. It only hurts the wrestlers. How can they grow a fan base? How can they become loved stars? It's a mess. House shows help them stay ready. Let me tell you something. I think that's actually a fact. That's not a hot take. I also think because they cut the house shows, they added more of this fucking traveling circus shit. It seems like there's more pay-per-views and these little special, you know, stuff like main event and all that and worlds collide to take place at these house shows. I actually thought they were going to cut down the pay-per-view and have more, robust wrestling on TV, but it's actually been the opposite because it's a money grab and the check has been cashed. I do agree. How can they grow a fan base when you're not in the intimate situation? I've been to a few house shows at WWE and it basically is them chilling, interacting with the fans, practicing new moves, moving around the ring, learning stuff, and getting reps. Jay Cargill right now, this is probably the best she's looked on live TV this past Friday. She's getting her reps on live TV. But then there's also the case where Stevie Rich made a very good point that these wrestlers are being trained and getting injured because they don't have live events and because they're not out there getting reps and doing what they got to do. I also agree because they're not wrestling, they're more clunky and rusty when they're in the ring. You got it, Lamel. That is a hot. No, I'm sorry. That's a fact. That is a fact. Shine Bright 5960 said, 5965. They said, I think Triple Thumbs is going to move Lash Legend to Raw because Raw needs more star power. I think Kiana James will probably be on Raw as well since Bianca, Nia, and Jade are all on SmackDown. But they may change some of them around during the draft, but they aren't going to put all tall Amazon women on the same brand. Lash Legend. Lash Legend and Jay Cargill are going to end up being in a tag team. I guarantee you. Either that or it's going to be Lash Legend and Nia going to get teamed up. Lash Legend is bigger than Jay Cargill. That's how big that woman is. Big, smooth. These women are just like broke the mold when they got built, child. Wherever she's put, she will be a welcome addition to any roster. It's gonna be the way she's booked. Are you gonna have her backstage talking shit? Or are you gonna have her in the ring running them hoes down while she talks shit? Some people are gonna definitely have an issue with the way she talks and handles herself. Lash, this is her. Flamboyant. Yes, girl. That's her. Even on her show. It comes off as natural. It does not come off forced. And I guarantee you somebody gonna have a problem with that as well. But I do agree with you on this one. This is a fact, not a hot take. Uh Demarius Poe 282. Even though Carlito and R-Truth on television, I still feel like they've been benched, and so many other wrestlers are probably just sitting at home wondering why they even signed up for this. I agree. I can't even argue with you that. You gotta wrestle. You want to work. You want to do your thing. You want to let people know what's going on because it's true. If you're not there, you will be forgotten. Like, we're happy to see you. We're gonna cheer you, and then it's like, what are you gonna do next? Be a motherfucking Alistair Black or Miro or excuse me, Rusev? Go right back to where you left off, and no one cares. Yeah, that's why a lot of wrestlers parlay and be on Twitch or have a YouTube or something because how you gonna make money and continue to generate if you can't do what you actually signed up to do, which is wrestle? Is this a hot take or fact? Big Biz 0586 said K Quick, which y'all know is R-Truth, has been benched, humiliated, buck broken by racist WWE and his gimmick given to John Cena. Quote, when I grow up, I want to be just like you, John Cena. Some jokes have a lot of truth to it. This is part of why I despise WWE after many years of watching. Y'all tell me what y'all think about that. I would love y'all thoughts on that post right there. Is it a hot take or a fact? Interesting. I actually like this. Shine Bright 5965. Shout out to you again. They said at this point WWE could pair Omos with the New Day as their enforcer until creative can figure something out for him. I like it. I don't see why not. I love it. That would be great. I'm not even there's nothing to even debate about that. Another one. Let's see. Memphis 10 Faithful Niner. Shout out to you. They said, I think they need to bring back the house shows in smaller venues in different cities, grab a WWE ring, let these people wrestle in smaller markets because they would give people a chance to see some stars wrestle and at least give some work in and do what they love. Send some big star every blue moon. It's just too much talent to let these people fall by the wayside, which is essentially what Vince McMahon was doing. These wrestlers were on a 360 schedule because you had SmackDown going, Raw going, house show here, house show there, live events, tours going. This is how you make stars. But what TKO, Paul Levinsky, and them are doing is they have shrunk the product, taken more away, and is charging you more for less. That is what they're doing. And it shows. Is this a hot take or a fact? D-Tay22, shout out to you. I think another problem with modern WWE is that there are no more backstage storytelling. Everything happens in small, contained ring. There's nothing that happens outside the ring. WWE acts like it lives in an entirely different universe. Bring these wrestlers down to earth a little bit, and I bet 80% of them will be more over. Let me say something to you. If you actually go on Twitter, which sucks because I like Blue Sky and I want more wrestlers to go over there, but they're on Twitter furthering their storylines. They're on Instagram furthering their storylines. They're doing their own promos. Okay. They're even going on some small podcasts and doing quote unquote shoot interviews to promote their storylines. So the conversation doesn't stop. It's on Twitter and on the social media. The problem is the WWE writers and stuff aren't recognizing it. Because Jade and Naomi, for example, they be talking some cash shit to each other on the internet. That alone, I would be on your ass. But the way that whole Jade and Naomi done lost steam is really bizarre, and I hate it. But I like what you're saying. I think this is actually a fact and not really a hot take. All right, here's another hot take. Diversity Jackson said, I think wrestling would benefit from building female characters who don't wrestle. Then their segments can be refreshing, offset from an endless cycle, and recreate a healthy anticipation for standard matches like Daddy Dearest, heel character who is overprotective of his bimbo hot daughter and her rebellious antics cause him mixed results in his matches and feuds. Okay, now this one is a familiar one. I forgot what podcast I was doing when I said this one. Shout out to you, but diversity. I have to say that's absolutely horrific. I don't know what person in their right mind who's over 16 is gonna want to see a Daddy Dearest heel character who is overprotective of his bimbo. That is just no. There's really nothing else I can say about that. That is just horrific as fuck. Okay. Common sense. 823. Y'all do what y'all want with this. Let's be honest, women's wrestling isn't equivalent to men's. The roster is filled with women who call out spots for the 300 level to hear, can't throw a punch, and botch more moves than they pull off. Giving them equal time is absurd. They could cut the women's roster by 7/8 and the overall WWE product would get better. Addition by subtraction. First of all, that's a lie, and that's absolutely disgusting because I watched John Cena and Randy Orton lay on the mat and have a full discussion and call spots for 10 minutes. So I don't know what you're talking about. Y'all do what y'all want with that. That was awful. I'm going to leave it with this one. Is this a hot take or a fact? 98% of women cannot cut a promo and are so cringe. Women's wrestling sucks. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. That said, I can watch women's wrestling for two reasons. One, every once in a while, there's an actually attractive woman on the roster. Doesn't happen a lot, but once in a while, they do hit the nail. Two, Hunter actually moves the women's world title around as opposed to the men's roster. First of all, if you're watching women's wrestling because you waiting to see somebody titty or maybe their coochie lips pop out, you really need to go and find a hobby. The same can be said for men. Do you think I want to see Jeff Cobb wrestle? He's not attractive. He looks like he mows the lawn or maybe is a plumber. And I can't keep my eyes on him. So what's the damn difference between him and I don't know, because attraction is subjective. So Bailey. You don't want to watch Bailey because she's not attractive, but she can wrestle. So what the fuck is the difference between the two? So y'all tell me what y'all think about that hot take. I'm gonna leave it right there, and I'll catch you on the next one. Deuces.